I highly
progress.
I highly recommend if you for your primary call to action button, you make it a color that is not in your brand color palette, but is complementary to your brand color palette. So it stands out and catches someone's eye as they're scrolling. So this is a company called Grace Data Partners. So you'll notice with them, their colors are dark blue and light blue, but they made a decision to make their call to action button this orange color, which complements their brand color palette, but it draws your eye to it, right? So their primary call to action is become an investor or to learn more. So that's what that's what you're seeing as you're scrolling down because that orange stands out so much. So if, for example, if your colors are red, black, and white, maybe look at doing a kind of a royal blue color for your call to action color, just so it stands out because they complement each other. But again, it's something that will stand out and catch your eye. If you make your call to action button color a black or a white or a red, and those are your brand colors, it's just going to blend in with your site and it won't stand out as much. All right. The other thing I want to say about design is, sorry, toggling back and forth. Give me 1 second. Okay. Make sure if you have a background, a video or something playing in the background, make sure the text is readable. You'll notice here the white text on this background, this colorful background, a little bit difficult to read, right? So I know this seems kind of obvious, but you would be surprised how many businesses don't pay attention to this. And if you have a video playing in the background, make sure that the text at all points in time in the video, watch the whole video while the text is on top of it to make sure that the text is always readable no matter what point you are at the video. Most companies will look at it for the first couple seconds and then not give it a second thought, but you don't want your text to not be readable on your website, especially if it's on top of a video or a visual. All right, so going back to your website optimization checklist. Oops. All right, now we're going to fill out the navigation section. So just to quickly recap navigation here, make sure that the colors that you use for your call to action buttons stand out. They're complementary but different from your brand color palette. Do that color blocking, alternate color black backgrounds, don't make it all white. Add a bolder color and alternate between the two because you want to break your website up into sizable sections. The other thing I want to touch on is content. Don't write a novel on your website, especially on mobile, right? So I see a lot of companies, they'll get the content and they'll base it on the desktop version. But when it comes to mobile, they won't even really look at the mobile, and the mobile just reads like a novel. And you'll be able to see this as, as you're auditing the website. If there's a lot of text on the novel, or if there's a lot of text on the site on mobile, consider shortening it, right? Think about things in bullets. The like 3 key bullets. What are the 3 things that you want someone to know about that specific section? And work around that. But look at the content on mobile before you move forward with it on desktop, because you don't want to have super long content on mobile and then not just have it be kind of this ongoing scrolling process. It's not good. Your customer's not going to read it. You want to make it short and concise. All right. So on the website optimization checklist, a couple questions to answer here. So first, right, is the typography legible? Is it easy to read, whether it's on pictures, on video? Or there shouldn't be any on video for mobile, but if it's the typography measurable, or I'm sorry, legible. Do the call to action buttons stand out? Is your eye drawn toward them? And do they have color blocking? So once you're done looking at that, total it up out of 3, write comments for feedback. And then we'll move on to the last part that you'll be auditing, which is email. So I'll give you another 30 seconds or so to catch up.
I need about 20 minutes to catch up. Are we supposed to have this done? Because I apologize, but you're going faster than my brain can think. So do we have to have this done at the end of your talk, or are we you gonna need the totals, just so I know? Because
we're going to talk about the totals at the end, but if you need more time, I'm sure it's fine. It's not a big deal.
I'll go last. Okay.
Does everyone need more time? If I'm going too fast, just let me know.
No.
Okay. I know I'm cramming a lot of material into the 3-hour time. Okay, we're going to move on to email. So, despite what people tell you, email is still one of the most powerful forms of marketing, especially, and it's one of the it's one of the highest ROI marketing channels that we have, right? Typical marketing ROI for email marketing is 20-1, which is really unbeatable compared to many other channels, including advertising. If you are not building an email list of customers, you should be. It's very inexpensive and doesn't take a lot of time to set up. And even if they're not your customers right now, you never know when they will turn into customers. So if you're not collecting emails on your site, I really strongly encourage you to relook at your website and to do that. Okay. But there is a right way and a wrong way to build email lists. So let's go over what that is. First, let's talk about the wrong way. So this is we're going to talk about Grace Data Partners. This is their old website. Let me pull this up. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So Grace Data Partners, the way that they collect email addresses is you have to sign up for their email list, you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of their website, which no one's going to do. Then you have to click a sign up button. And then you're taken to this big laundry list form that you have to fill out just to get on their email list, right? You're not getting anything right away in return. You just have to fill that out to get on their email list. Really, or their email list, suffice it to say, as a result of this, was their email take rate was very low. People did not want to fill this out. People didn't want to give a ton of information. You want to make it easy for someone to sign up for your email list. At the most, you should ask for first name, last name, and email. Ideally, it would just be email or first name and email so you can personalize it, right? You want to make it very easy for someone to sign up. So just to kind of show you an example of what a good email sign up looks like. Going back to the text services example again. Having something like this at the top, where you're offering so it's very simple, right? You just add in your email, and then you're offering some sort of value add, right? Because an email address is something of value. So you want to give something immediately of value in return. So here, Tech Services is offering a free ebook, right? The hidden cost of insourcing sanitation. It's not really a sales piece. It's not soliciting sales, but it's giving them information and how that information is relevant to them and how it relates to Tech Services, sanitation services, right? So you want to make it easy, and you don't want to make it so you don't want to make it so it's like this giant pop-up. E-commerce that works a little bit better, but for B2B, you don't want to make it so invasive, right? You want to just give people a really easy way to sign up, right? And this will follow you down unless you click out of it or you sign up. All right. So in terms of a lead magnet, I just want to share an example with a company called WordStream. Now, these guys are a Google Ads agency. I'm not saying you have to do a lead magnet or a value add like this, because this is pretty robust. but these guys do have a email list of over 600,000 people. So clearly what they're doing is working. So I just want to kind of give you a best in class. So these guys offer a free Google Ads performance grader. So all you have to do is enter your email to get your grade, and you could look at their landing page. It talks about what you're gonna, the value that you're gonna get, see how your ads are performing, your quality score, impression share. You see everything, you see the entire breakdown of the report, what people are saying, and what's included, right? So again, they're offering something of value in exchange for your email address, right? So once you sign up, of course, they're going to market to you and market their products and services, but this is a great, very easy way to get in. They're exchanging value for value, and it works really well. You don't have to create something like this for your business. Like I said, an ebook or a white paper, or even a case study would suffice, but you definitely don't want to just say, hey, sign up for my email list, and not give them anything immediately as a result of that. A newsletter doesn't count, right? Newsletters are maybe done once a month. You want to give them something immediately. Okay, so going back. All right, the last thing I want to talk about as it relates to email is the contact us page. So you can actually use, everyone pretty much has a contact us page on their website. But few people use it to their advantage. You can actually use your contact us page, if it works for your business, as a way to qualify leads. So this is a company called 10up. They basically make really high level websites. So their average website build is somewhere in the neighborhood of $150,000 to $200,000. So when it came time to engage them for a project, they were getting a lot of leads, but they were not getting a lot of qualified leads that were willing to spend, 120,000 plus on a website project. So they made a really simple adjustment to their contact page. They added a rough project size. Now you don't have to qualify people by pricing and what they're willing to spend. There's other ways to do it, but just to show you this, this is an example. So here, all they did was they added a budget range. So if you select anything less than $120,000, then you get a nice email from them saying, thank you very much. We're not taking on projects of this size, but here are some agencies that might be able to help you. And they give them a list of agencies, and that's it. And then if someone selects more than their $120,000 threshold, then they'll get an email, or they'll get a link for a Calendly invite or a Calendly link to set something up and take the next step. So they got a lot less leads after that, but they were getting more qualified leads. So again, you could use your contact us page as a way to qualify. All right, so just to leave you with a few things on email. Again, if you're not already, please consider collecting email addresses. You never know, it's a really inexpensive way to get a list of potential customers, and you never know when those potential customers will become actual customers. Make sure the subscribe button is at the top, right? And not maybe not a super invasive pop-up, but just at the top of your site, like the example of tech services that I showed. And offer something of value, right? Offer a lead magnet of some sort. For e-commerce, that could be a discount. For B2B, it's again a white paper, an ebook, or some sort of case study, right? And then tweak your contact us form to help get qualified leads if getting leads or driving sales is the goal of your site. All right, so let's fill out the last part of the website optimization checklist. Look at the website you're auditing. Do they have a way to collect emails? If they do, check the box. If they don't check the box. Are they offering some sort of offer or value add in exchange for the email address? And then do they have a contact us form? It doesn't have to necessarily be a lead qualifying contact us form, but do they have a contact us form? If they do, check the box. If they don't check the box. And then when you're done, total that up out of 3. And then I want you to total up all of the yellow highlighted sections that you filled out, plus the highlighted sections for SEO, analytics, and monitoring below. And then on the very last page, on page 5, give the total out of 37. And then check a couple boxes of the parts that you audited that give the most opportunities for improvement. And then set that as, and then save that, set that aside for now, and I'll tell you what to do next later on in the presentation. So I'll give you a couple minutes to get that done, and then we'll move on.
All right. Say the last part again after we did the email section.
So total up all of the yellow highlighted parts, including the parts that I did that where I filled out the audit. And then on the very last page, you'll see a red highlighted section out of 37. Write the number out of 37. And then there's check boxes below on areas for improvement. Check 1 or 2 boxes of the areas you audited where they can improve. Can you just put a thumbs up in the chat when you're done, so I know?
Alex, you said there was a section here that you completed. What sections are you talking about?
Then the sections below email. So there's email, analytics, and monitoring.
Uh-huh.
Those should all be completed.
Oh, no, they're not. I thought I had to do that. So do I just leave those blank?
Yeah, whose website do you have?
Yang Law Offices.
I know I did that one. Let me take a look. Hold on.
Okay.
Maybe I can chime in. If you copied over as a Word document, it didn't copy Alex's score. But if you look at the PDF, it does have her score.
Okay, so I need to look at a PDF. Okay.
Did you open it as a PDF or a Word document?
I just opened it as a Google Sheet. Let me open it
Oh,
now
it
again.
shouldn't open as a Google Sheet. It should just be a PDF.
Yeah, it was loaded on Google Drive, so it gives you that little button to open with Google Sheets.
Oh,
And it gets all weird with the formatting.
Well, I'm opening it as a PDF and I still don't see it. So I'm not sure.
let me take a look. Give me 1 second.
Down at the bottom.
Okay, I see. All right, I see Word documents in here.
It's on the last page, but
Yeah.
one, Crystal.
Yeah, it's filled out for me. It's on page 4 and 5 should be filled out. or sorry, page 3 and 4 should be filled out.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Let me, hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, it's actually page 4 in the PD. It's page 4 in the
Oh, yeah.
PDF.
Are you
With the
seeing what I'm
analytic.
seeing?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's page 4.
Yep.
And then you've got the grand total on the next page. Yeah. So yeah, it's filled in on mine. I was doing somebody else's website. Just to,
Okay, well, we could figure, I mean, we could figure it out so everyone gets an audit or gets a proper audit. Don't, it's, the scores are there, so if I need to port them over, it's not a big deal. Give me 1 second. All right. All right. So let's move on to the organization facing side of websites. So the first thing we're going to talk about is search engine optimization. Is anyone not familiar with the topic of search engine optimization? Okay, good. Always have to ask that question because there are still some Visage members that don't know what that means. So anyways, I'm going to talk about SEO from a very high level. I'm not going to get into the get super into the particulars and the technicalities of it, because like I said, it's a whole other workshop in and of itself. But even if you're just kind of a novice at SEO, I'll just kind of give you the minimum requirements of what you need to do. All right, so let's go back to my pages. Oops. So first, let's look at a site that is not SEO optimized. So first thing I want to talk about is every website should have what's called title tags and meta descriptions on each of their pages, right? So the title tag is what basically what Google knows to call your website. Meta description is what is kind of a summary of the content that you'll find on the page. The easiest way when you're visiting a website to tell if one has a title tag and meta description is to just hover over the tab up here. And then you'll see if a website is not SEO optimized, it'll be what Google calls the default, which is the name of the page, home dash the name of the company. A good title tag should have relevant keywords based on search intent, right? So it should be more something to the effect of with the types of pool, right? Swim spas near me, hot tubs. And then the meta description should also have those words as well. But this website is not SEO optimized because you can see here, no matter what page you go on, it'll just be the default. It'll be hot tubs dash Orange County pools and spas, chemicals dash Orange County pools and spas, right? It's not optimized for any sort of search engine optimization. The other thing too is, and this only applies to businesses that have customers in specific regions or local businesses. If you have multiple locations, or if you service areas if you serve customers in multiple regions or states, right? So if you're a company that focuses specifically on, let's call it Southern California, you want to have sections on your website and pages dedicated to your website for each type of area you serve, so you come up in more localized searches, right? So this Orange County Pools and Spas website, they have 2 locations, right? Mohegan Lake and Windsor, but they don't have, these are just phone numbers. They don't have specific pages dedicated to each of those locations on their website. So therefore, if someone is looking for pools and spas in Mohegan Lake, they're less likely to come up because they don't have a page dedicated to that. Same with New Windsor, right? They won't come up in a more localized search because they don't have a website page dedicated to that. So let's look at a same concept of a company, but let's look at one that is SEO optimized. So this is River Pools and Spas. So you'll see here, they have a title tag that is optimized around search, right? So in-ground fiberglass pools, that's a keyword. World-class manufacturing, areas that they serve. right? So this is an example of an SEO optimized site. They have this for every single page. They have a different title tag and meta description around different keywords on every page of their website. And then for locations, they have all the different locations they serve, but each of these locations has their own website. So for example, River Pools in Boise has its own site. So if someone is searching in the search engine for fiberglass pools or fiberglass in-ground pools in Boise, these guys are going to come up in that region. Okay. Now, if you are an e-commerce company that has a national customer base, or if you have customers all over the US or all over the world, this is not as important because obviously that would be impossible to do, to have pages dedicated to each region. But you want to, but if you are a local company or you service specific regions, definitely have local pages on your site. All right, so going back, if you are looking for keywords, and this could be keywords related to writing your title tags and meta descriptions, or this could be related to content ideas, you can go to a site called answerthepublic.com. I'll put it in the chat too. All right, and what this is you enter 1 to 2 words that best describe your industry, and it'll spit out different keywords that people are looking for as it relates to what you're, as it relates to this high level keyword. So again, it's great for writing website content. It's great for writing articles if you're doing articles on an ongoing basis. It's also great for answering customer questions and seeing what people are searching for. Now, not all of them are going to be relevant. I mean, you have to kind of filter through them, but it's a really great site. You get 3 free searches a day. So if you're not using it, I highly recommend you take advantage of it. I'll do one as an example. Does anyone want to throw out a keyword, a high level keyword related to their product or service or their industry?
Sure. How about veterinary cardiology teleconsulting?
That might be a little, can we do veterinary cardiology?
No, because that'll just give them the local people, the local shops in their area. The teleconsulting is what makes it national. Veterinary cardiology teleconsulting. Sorry, it's a complicated stuff. There we go.
Okay. So these are specific keywords that people are searching for as it relates to what you just gave, that high level keyword.
Got it. And this data comes from Google search?
Yep.
Got it. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah. So for data, again, you get 3 free searches a day. Just create an account. And even if you wanted to search more than this, I think it's like $9 a month. It's not that expensive.
Is this the site you use?
I do use the site, yeah.
Is this similar to all the Google AdWord analytic, all that stuff that they used to have? I haven't been on that in a while.
Yeah, this is just to kind of give you ideas above and beyond this a little bit. It categorizes them into different buckets. So obviously some of these would work for more long form content versus website content. But if you want a quick idea without having to kind of dig through Google keyword planner or Moz or any of those, and you want to just get an idea of what people are searching for, this is a really great tool to use. You don't have to like filter through as many different options as you would just by going to the site. All right. All right, so just to quickly recap here, I think if you don't have title tags and meta descriptions on each page on your website, hire someone for a couple $100 to write those for you if you don't want to do it yourself. It's well worth it, and you want to make sure, again, your website is optimized around search intent. If you are a location-based business, make sure you add a page for each location or region you serve. If you're national, don't worry about this. And then if you can, create content, whether it's on your website or in articles that answer customers' questions. Answering customers' questions is your most powerful form of search engine optimization that you can do. I don't care what anyone says. If your website has the information and answers customers' questions, customers are going to buy from you and they're going to trust you, and Google will reward you for that. Right? But don't ignore SEO. It's really important. All right, next we're going to move on to analytics. So most of you have Google Analytics installed, which is great, right? Analytics gives you real-time insights and data about your website, where you're losing people, how they're interacting on your site. But I don't want you to ignore Bing. Bing still gets over 1 billion searches a year. Now, compared to Google, which gets 4 trillion searches a year, it's all relative, right? But 1 billion searches a year is still a lot. And there are a substantial amount of people still using Bing. It tends to be a more older demographic, or a lot of times it also tends to be the default browser if a company is using Microsoft products. But don't ignore. Sorry, can you say that again? Oh. But Bing, but don't ignore Bing. So Bing has an equivalent tool to Google Analytics called Bing Webmaster Tools. You can sign up for an account on Bing if you just Google Bing Webmaster Tools, and you can connect it directly to Google Search Console. It takes 2 seconds. It's really easy to do, and Bing walks you through the process. And then you can get Bing related insights. Just to give you an example of why it's so important to have Bing, I'm not saying that this is kind of more the exception than the rule, but you still want to gather Bing related insights. I want to talk about a jewelry company that I used to work with. They're an e-commerce company. They sell they're called Shepherd Stone. They sell faith-based fine jewelry. So when I first started working with them, they were when they launched, they were selling maybe a couple hundred pieces of jewelry per week. And as a startup, pretty good, right? And then one day sales completely dropped off and they started selling only 2 to 3 pieces a week. When we looked at the Google Analytics and their Facebook ads, nothing really had changed. Everything was pretty consistent. And then I realized that they didn't have Bing Webmaster Tools. And I said, okay, well, let's just install that to see if we can get any other insights and kind of figure out what's going on. And so when we installed it, we saw that over 90% of their traffic was coming from Bing. Makes sense a little bit with this demographic, but we were able to pinpoint it to the drop off to the day where they actually changed their main headline picture or their main picture to this. Now, just by looking at this, and it's a little bit easier to tell in virtual, but who can tell me what's unique about this jewelry? It's not that it's faith-based, but can anyone tell what's unique about this jewelry? All right. There's actually a cross etched in the stone, which is very difficult to see unless I tell you that it's there.
Mhm.
They made a change. So before the cross etched in the stone was front and center, and then they made a change to this because they thought it made their jewelry look better. And that instantly caused sales to drop off because their Facebook ads were showing this kind of like nice cross etched in the stone that was like, front and center. And when you get here, it's kind of underwhelming. So as a result, their sales dropped off. Once they changed their image, sales went back up and things went back to normal. But they would have never found that out if they didn't find that 90% of their traffic was coming from Bing. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen with every business, but you never know. So it's really easy to install. So I highly encourage you install it just so you have that data point.
But so question, so because you were looking at the results from Bing, you were able to pinpoint the date that sales dropped off and they then related it to the picture change?
Yes.
Okay. I have an older customer, so that's really important for me. I'm gonna do that.
So, again, track both Google and Bing website behavior. The other thing you might want to consider, if you don't do this already and you have a high traffic to your website, is consider installing a conversion tracker. So what this is something like a Smart Look or a Full Story or a Hotjar, where you can actually watch recordings of people interacting on your site. You could find out where people getting stuck, where you're losing them, and you could make continuous improvements to your site to make it a better user experience. Oh, I have some tools that I'll recommend at the end. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is monitoring. So first thing I want to talk about as it relates to monitoring is Google Page Speed Insights. So let me show of hands. Has anyone heard of Google Page Speed Insights? Okay, most of the marketing friendly people or businesses. So Google Page Speed Insights essentially tells it's Google's basically version of scoring how fast and how fast your website's performing and whether or not your site's optimized. It can be used in helping rank you on the search engine. It's part of the algorithm, but it's really important to check this at least once a quarter to make sure that your site is not super slow. This is especially important for mobile. As I've mentioned a couple times throughout this presentation, mobile is still despite where your traffic's coming from, mobile is still highly valued or more valued than the desktop experience as it pertains to Google. So if your mobile experience is slow, when you put your domain into Google Page Speed Insights, then you're going to get penalized for it. So I'll just do an example of how that works. Who wants to give their domain as an example that I can run through Google Page Speed? Anyone? Any volunteers? Oh, come on.
Plusbydesign.com.
All right, so you could find this by just Googling Google Page Speed Insights. It takes a minute or so to do. And what you could do is if you want to aim to have a score of 75 or higher, typically there are things that will slow, like plugin CRMs that will slow the site down a little bit, but your goal should be to aim to have a 75 or higher on both mobile and desktop. So it looks like your mobile score is 70, so it's right there. Your desktop's 91, so yours is pretty good. If your site is really slow, and so if you have a score of 75 or lower, you can send this link to your developer or to your development team and have them address the issues or see if they can address some of the issues to get the score back up.
What would be what would slow down mobile as opposed to desktop? Do you think that's a pretty big difference? 20 points, or is that normal?
Yeah, so typically the reason why that is because even though website agencies will tell you that they build mobile first, it's still not optimized. It's still built desktop first and optimized for mobile later. So the reason why there's the big disparity is because your website was likely built desktop first and not mobile. But
supposedly it's built not mobile first, though. I'm one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes certain plugins will slow down the mobile site more so than the desktop site. It really, I would have to see your tech stack to kind of pinpoint exactly what would be driving it, but usually
lots of apps. There's lots of apps.
Yeah. But typically, I see it's pretty common both in B2C and B2B that the website is in fact built desktop because you'll see a desktop score of like 90. And then some companies will have a mobile score of maybe like 15 or 16. And that's because the site was built desktop first and not mobile first, no matter what they told you. So.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. All right, the other thing you want to look at once a quarter is broken links. Broken links can affect your search engine optimization score. And also it's just not, you don't want to have broken links on your site. So there is a website called Dr. Link Check. It's free. you could put in your URL, and it will tell you all the broken links that are on your site. So what I did for you guys on your website optimization checklist is I actually, I ran all of your sites through this broken link checker, and just put the number of broken links, which tells you if you need to pay attention to it or not. But if you have multiple broken links, get them fixed. Whether it's from you or your developer, get the list over to them and get that fixed, because that's really important to not have. And just check once a quarter, as I mentioned. Oh, did we get a question? Oh. And here I'll put. Okay. All right, the last thing I want to talk about as it relates to monitoring is ADA compliance, web accessibility. So if you don't, this is becoming more of a hot topic in the Vistage community. This wasn't on my original presentation, but I did add it because it is now required by law that all of your websites are ADA compliant. And what's happened is lawyers got kind of bored during the pandemic, and this became kind of an ambulance chasing type of scenario, which is unfortunate. So I have now heard of 18 Vistage members getting served with demand letters over the course of my presentation. So consider this, I'm not a lawyer, right? But consider this more of a PSA. So between 2020 and 2021, there's been a 200% increase in lawsuits and demand letters. And most of these are obviously settled, but they're settled for an amount between $20,000 and $150,000 on average. So again, you know, they're typically, from what I've seen, they tend to target companies with high website traffic, but that's slowly changing now that they've kind of moved through those companies. But what's happening is lawyers are hiring people who have disabilities, and they're paying these people to find websites that are not ADA compliant, and then they'll serve them with demand letters, and they'll give them a cut of whatever they get in the settlement. So again, you have to, your site has to be ADA compliant. So the question is, how do you make your site ADA compliant? So there's two ways that you can do it. So the first way is you can rebuild your entire website to be ADA compliant for that moment, right? ADA laws are constantly changing, so there's no guarantee that it'll stay ADA compliant. So that's expensive and probably not the best use of your time or your money. Or you can download a widget that will ensure that your site is ADA compliant. Now there's lots of widgets out there, and I researched this a ton. The best widget I found that ensures ongoing ADA compliance is a widget called Accessibility. It's in your, there's a tools worksheet, or there's a tools Excel sheet in the takeaway folder that I'm providing you. So I'll go over that at the end. But I'll show you what it looks like, and then we can talk about it. So So the reason why this one is better than the other ones that are out in the market is it actually uses artificial intelligence to scan your website on an ongoing basis and ensure that it meets all of the ADA compliance regulations and requirements. So give me 1 second. Okay, so you'll see that the accessibility widget, you can put it, it's down in the corner, usually the bottom left or right hand corner. When you click on it, you're brought up with a whole bunch of options. So again, this scans the software in the background will scan your website on an ongoing basis and just make sure that your site's ADA compliant. So let's say you're someone that has that suffers from seizures, you can toggle this on and it grays out your website. Or if you're vision impaired, it'll make your website bolder and brighter. If you have ADHD, and yes, that is a thing, it'll have like a little section that like only lights up certain parts of the site so you can focus. Right? If you have autism or dyslexia, it'll frame all the copy on your site. for blind users, it connects with the software, which I obviously don't have, but and then if you wanted to kind of make content adjustments yourself, whoop, you can do so. There we go. And you could adjust the colors as well. So again, this is the best widget that I've seen, and one that ensures ongoing ADA compliance. Other widgets on the market do not ensure that. They don't have the AI that constantly scans your website. I did get them to give Vistage members a discount, so it's $490 a year, I believe. And so if you, again, it's in the tools worksheet, but if you purchase that, you get the discount. And then if you do get started with the demand letter, then it also covers that you also get access as part of that fee to their litigation team that will fight it on your behalf to make sure that you don't have to pay anything. So, and I'm not a lawyer, this is just a recommendation, take with it what you will, but I just want to let you know that it is becoming more and more of a thing, and I am hearing more and more about it in the Vistage community.
I did get a letter like that, and I installed UserWay. Do you recommend switching to?
Go ahead, sorry, switching to Accessibility?
Yeah. I think I'm
To
paying
my
$50 a month, so that's probably $490 is less than that, but
to my knowledge, and again, I can look into it more for you, but to my knowledge, when I compared the two, again, UserWay doesn't have that ongoing kind of compliance and scanning. So I don't know if you're 100% covered, but you would be with Accessibility. So
yeah.
I can look at that and get back to you, but from my research, that is kind of what I found.
Yeah, I like the way the tool worked a little better than the UserWay is not quite as understandable. So good.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
So I spent like a total of half an hour looking into this, so for what that's worth. But one thing that I thought was really interesting about this whole sphere of stuff is it does not necessarily make the website more usable for people with disabilities. It does protect you from lawsuits. So those, you got to make those distinctions. So I just
That's true.
that was a fascinating thing I discovered, so wanted to share that.
Thanks, Jeff.
Crystal, to answer your question, I believe it's 20% off of the $490. At least that's what they told me. So. Okay. Again, I do with it what you will. But yeah, just wanted to make you guys aware of it if you haven't been served already. So.
Was there a discount code or something to get the $490?
Yeah, it's in the tools. I'll show
Okay.
you at the end.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
But yeah, that price versus getting started with the demand letter, much more cost effective.
Yeah.
All right.
Danielle, what did you get? You received a letter?
Yeah, it was a 26-page letter with screenshots of my website, and I went ahead and did the app right away, and I didn't hear from them again. I decided not to respond and just put on the.
Was it an attorney?
I did not respond at all. I decided to go that route, and I didn't hear from them again.
And they were an attorney that were sending you the letter.
It was a law firm. Mhm.
Oh, wow.
In Los Angeles. Okay. It was scary at first, and then I thought, this is something that they're probably just sending out letters, seeing who's going to respond and engage.
Yeah.
And so I decided not to engage and put on the thing, because then they wouldn't have a case, and it was fine.
Oh,
That's
good. In our industry, a lot of therapists are getting those letters and getting fined. So one of them was just fined. And so, yeah, it's definitely need to do this.
Yeah, it's a shame, because it's not even about like the purpose of it, right? The whole thing about making it compliant for people with
Seriously.
disabilities, it's about collecting money.
It was like 3 years ago. I mean, I was completely ignorant of the whole situation at the time. And I thought I have to make my website easy for a blind person to use. And so, you know, just kind of understanding that and going there was the first process. But now obviously it makes sense.
Yeah. There was a e-commerce company up in Seattle that I presented to a few months ago. They got served with a $250,000 demand letter. And they ended up getting, I think they ended up getting that down to half of that, but they still had to pay.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's becoming more and more of a thing, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, just to wrap up monitoring. So if you don't have Google Search Console installed already, again, highly recommend you do that so you can index your sites. I think most of you do, so I wouldn't worry about this too much because I think when I kind of looked at your websites, I don't think there was really many people that didn't have it, or there's maybe one person that I don't think is here today. And you want to make sure that you do the Google Page Speed Insights once a quarter, as well as the broken links, and then make sure your website is ADA compliant. Don't get served with the demand letter. All right, so now this is the part where we'll kind of go through the website optimization assessment. So if you could take your completed.
Alexandria, we are at 12 o'clock. I should let you know.
We are.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
So,
that's fine. I could go a little bit, if it's okay with you, it could maybe go like 10 minutes over and then we can wrap up. Does that work?
Yep.
Is that okay, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Looks like we're good.
All right, so since we're short on time, if you haven't already, drop the completed assessment into the finished folder, which I will, let me put the link in the file or in the chat really quick. All right, so if you can throw that in there, but I guess, again, since we're short on time, so look at the score, or do you remember the scores that you, the total scores from the websites you audited?
Uh-huh.
All right, so again, show of hands. How many of you had a website that scored between 0 and 12? Okay, 1. 13 to 24? Okay, that's about what and then 25 to 37. Okay, so in the middle. So typically Visage members do score somewhere between the 13 and 24 range. The average is usually 16 or 17. So I just want to emphasize the score just kind of is created to give you a guide on, you know, maybe making some changes to your website. So green, if you're in the green, you're good to go. If you're in the yellow, which most of you are, try to make some of those improvements on the checklist. Use that checklist as a way to just as a guide. So if you're rebuilding your website, great, use it as a checklist to rebuild your site. If you're looking to make improvements, prioritize content first. Content is the most important, right? There are some easy wins, you know, through analytics and monitoring that you can do, but again, use this as a guide to make the best use of your sales or of your website, because your website is your most valuable sales and marketing tool. Okay. And then if you're 0 to 12, I would strongly consider rebuilding your website and improving the experience. Okay. All right.
Not allowing me to upload a file, Alex.
We don't have permission.
We don't have permission.
All right, give me 1 second. I will change that. All right, here's the link. Now you should be able to do it. Let me know if that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's uploading now.
Okay. Perfect. So take a look your score, download your document, take a look at your scores, and then again, just look at area. again, the idea that the reason why I had you guys audit each other's websites is because you're getting a unbiased look from another person, right? So you're not biased towards your own content in your website. You're getting a perspective from someone else that's not intimately in your business day in and day out. All right, so just want to leave you with some key takeaways here. So is your website truly a educational tool for your customers and a sales tool for your organization? Right? Is it hitting on your website should be, again, it's your most valuable sales and marketing asset. So the way to make the best use of it is to make sure you're answering all of your customers' questions and to make sure that you're giving all the information you can about your products and services. Are you talking directly to your customers on your website, or are you just talking about yourself and how great you are? If it's the latter, consider reworking your copy so you're talking directly to your customers, how you can help them and how you can help solve their problems or pains. And the last question I'll leave you with is your company truly making the best use of your website? If the answer is I don't know or no, you might want to consider making some changes or rebuilding. All right. So where do you start? So again, you want to identify an employee who's responsible for managing ongoing optimizations to your website. So your website should not be a set and forget. You should have someone that's dedicated to making ongoing improvements and making changes and updating it. Use the checklist we just went over to help make improvements to your current site, right? So again, start with the content piece because that's most important. But use this, whether you're building a new website or you're looking to make improvements, use this checklist. It'll help you. And then install the recommended tools. So just to quickly go over those, let me pull them up. All right, so this is in your takeaway folder. All right, so a few tools here. So adding third-party reviews. If you want to do that, you can use a platform called ElfSite. There's a few other ones too. There's Tag Embed. There's you can use Google API, but ElfSite's a really good one that I've used with many clients, and they're happy with it. So it's $5 a month, and you can port in all of your 4- and 5-star Google reviews. You can leave out the negative ones if you have them. Accessibility. So again, I think the Vistage discount is 20% off of this $4.90, but this is the link to get the special, even if it's $4.90, this is the link to get the special, take advantage of the special offer. Website optimization intelligence. So this, I recommend SmartLook. That's the best one that I found, but there's other ones like Full Story. But if you're an e-commerce company or someone that gets a lot of visitor traffic, I highly recommend installing a website intelligence tool so you can see people interacting on your site and make improvements. If you do business in other languages, there is a translation tool called Weglot. Weglot will translate your website into any language in the world, and it's more of the conversational language, not the Google Translate language. So it'll be a lot more intuitive to the person that's reading the site. And then for speed optimization, so one thing you can, if you have a WordPress site or if your site is built in WordPress, you can install NitroPack. It's a little bit on the pricey side, but it will automatically guarantee that your website speed on mobile and desktop is always kept at 90+ at all times. So it'll solve the page speed issue for you. Okay, so all these tools are here to take advantage of as you see fit. All right, and then I offer a special value for Vistage members, especially because we didn't get time to review sites at the end. So option 1, you can schedule a 60-minute strategy session with me to review your website in more detail. So we'll go over it. And then if for some reason I didn't get to your website or like something's missing, or I guess part of the optimization form is missing, I'm happy to do that for you as well. And then option 2, I would just give you an hour of my time and we can workshop any marketing challenge that you might have.
Great.
So if you want to take advantage of that, I mean, there's a QR code here, but it's also in the tools page, and then I'll send it to Anna as well if you want to sign up for that.
Definitely.
And then just really quickly, this is my company, Leadway. We do fractional chief marketing officer services. We focus on marketing and sales alignment. We do website design development from a sales and marketing perspective, lead gen, and corporate workshops. And that's it. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. That was great. And
Thank you.
I would, we should acknowledge Alex in the usual manner. So come off mute and let's give her a round of applause. She went solidly
Thank you.
for 3 hours.
Thank you for
at a great pace.
Yay,
Thank
you.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
bearing with me with the virtual stuff.
Okay,
I want to say I've done a lot of work in this space, Alex, and I learned a lot from you today. So thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm sure quite a few at this stage. Thank you.
Is there a
Thank you very
coupon?
much.
Is there a coupon code for your services somewhere in the links below?
Take the 60-minute session to start with, Ara. That's what I recommend. That's the best coupon code of all. That one is free.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
good.
I'll send out I'll send out the folder that has everything in it, but you'll have a takeaway deck. You'll have a blank optimization form if you needed the tools and all of that. So I'll send that to Anna. I'll send my contact information if you want to reach out to me.
Yeah, and I will send the chat so that you've got all the details in there as well if you want them, and then don't forget to pick up your your file from the final link so that you can take a look at how you scored on your own website. So if anybody's missing one, if there isn't one for you, then let me know and we'll struggle through it together.
I'm not sure that anyone did mine.
No, I think
Person was supposed to
I
do
think
it, wasn't here.
I think Ethan was
Ethan,
supposed
yeah.
to do it, yeah, but isn't here.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do it, Danielle. Don't worry, we're not
All
going
right.
to leave you without some
And
thought.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much to you all, and I will
Thank
send
you.
you information on how to give Alex her feedback. But I don't want to keep you any longer, so let's just say goodbye for now, and I will see you soon.
All right, bye.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you.
you.
Bye bye.